All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, that's out there hopeful elect, that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And pretty much I want to play this video short by Cenk Uygur, which pretty much has the podcast, The Young Turks. And he speaks about Tucker Carlson might be arrested, and this situation is pretty much unfolding, concerning this raw war in Iran, and pretty much, he's being arrested or being threatened to be arrested, is because he is doing, you know, what is called true investigative journalism. Okay, people that pretty much take up this profession, um, you know, they've been compromised, um, pretty much, on a large scale, you know, and he was part of that realm, being with Fox News, and he pretty much, went off script, you know. Speaking about Tucker Carlson, he went off script with his show that was on Fox News, okay, and pretty much as him, not going along with being part of that compromised or controlled opposition. He started questioning more. He started being more boisterous on his show that he had on Fox, and he was eventually fired. Okay, so now fast forward, now he's been pretty much building up his own brand, and being a one of the top conservative podcasters that's out there that's pretty much speak truth. And on his show, he pretty much has a lot of whistleblowers. He has a lot of people that pretty much you know uh, you know speak truth concerning the inner workings of the government. you know. And the thing about Tucker Carlson is, you know, he's one of those true, what you want to call red-blooded Americans, that pretty much, you know, just want things the way they were, like the good old days, you know. Um, he is, again, like I say, and I say this with Candace Owens, they are earnestly naive, but quick learners. And I say that is because, you know, um, his personality, he's not a arrogant person. He pretty much humbles himself to learn things. So now when he went down a few years ago, when he went down to the Apostles, okay, he ran into the Apostles a few years ago on 34th and 7th in New York City, and pretty much he stumbled upon the camp, and him being inquisitive, okay, pretty much was asking what's this about. The apostles pretty much told him in a nutshell, pretty much, he better hope that he's not comes to the stock of Edom, because pretty much in a nutshell you're going into slavery. And his response wasn't no kind of buck up or anything like that. He just asked a honest question: why am I going into slavery? And the apostles pretty much, gave him a quick rundown. The conversation didn't last too long. He didn't get a lot of the information that he really did need to understand what it is that what we're about. But I pretty much think now that he is pretty much has been looking into it, and which now, he's been questioning pretty much Mike Huckabee. All right, he had an interview with Mike Huckabee, a few weeks ago, and he asked them, well, why don't you, the people of Israel take DNA tests? So now he's pretty much has it in his back of his mind. He knows that they're not the children of the Most High. He knows they're not so-called the chosen people. And he's under the guise of, thinking that just, regular Christians that are out there that are the children of the Most High, or the chosen people, so to speak. That's what a lot of Christians think, you know. But nevertheless, you know, um, Edom is pretty much trying to take control of the narrative with this war. And there's been a huge media blackout on a lot of the information that's been going out. But there's a lot of, leaks that are pretty much, that's coming, in the reports of what's really going on. But the consensus is that, the U.S. is pretty much, getting a taste of their own medicine, so to speak. They're getting pretty much their asses handed to them, so to speak, in a way. They're getting beat at their own game. And, the whole bully tactic is pretty much not working this time. And this war is pretty much turning into a big fiasco. And people are having inquiring minds. People are questioning it. And this is where Tucker comes in, and he's pretty much doing his investigative journalism, so to speak. But let me bring some more context to this lesson. But I'm gonna play this video, and we're gonna get some scriptures and get into it. But without any further ado, here we go.
Tucker Carlson put out a video last night saying that he might be arrested soon. Certainly that there's going to be articles written about how he might be arrested, and charges might be about working with a foreign government because he talked to people in Iran before the war. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people in Washington talked to officials in Israel before the war. I'm sure they're also all going to be arrested. Oh, no, of course not. In fact, this is about the CIA spying in on his texts and then recommending a case to law enforcement. And so there are people inside the CIA, he says, and I believe him 100% because the proof is in the pudding. You see it every single day as we get fake weapons of mass destruction intelligence during the Iraq War, during the Iran War, etc. There are people inside the American government that actually work for Israel. And so when they see people that are criticizing the war, criticizing Israel, they target them. So if they arrest Tucker Carlson on trumped-up charges that don't make any sense, that means they're going to come for everyone, any opponent of the war, any opponent of Israel. And then every time they'll have some sort of charge. Oh, yeah, he was jaywalking. He was doing this. He had sex with a prostitute. He talked to someone in Iran. And then every time the media will debate the charges rather than the fact of, hey, what the hell in the world is happening here? Every single person charged happens to be against Israel, happens to be against the war. No, pretend that the jaywalking was a real problem. Have a giant debate about how terrible jaywalkers are and all of that. So this is scary times, guys, where there are people inside our government that do not work for our government, that work for a different government. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a live video right here on Young Turks on YouTube. And I'm going to show you clips of what Tucker Carlson said last night, what I think is actually happening. And at the same time, the FCC chair says that he's going to do a clampdown on any media that is opposed to the war. So it's the most un-American thing you could possibly say. It's the FCC chair saying it, and he's threatening people's broadcast license. So the war against Americans opposed to this war has begun. Our government is at war against us, and our government is compromised. So I don't know what they're going to do next in terms of Tucker Carlson and other media hosts that are opposed to this war and dare to defy Israel. But an all-out assault has already happened to us in media, now then in politics, and now the government might use this awesome power to take people's freedom away if they dare to defy Israel or this disgusting war. So I'll tell you more about it in the live video that's coming up, Young Turks YouTube channel.
Yep, and there you have it. And this pretty much was a test run that they were running in Australia and also in the UK. Where people will pretty much be threatened with jail for speaking truth or speaking anything about the small hats, man. Okay, and this is the time that we're coming into, where ultimately they're gonna shut down YouTube, man. Okay, now the chair of FCC pretty much is threatening to snatch licenses. Okay, broadcast licenses from any media outlet that speaks unfavorably concerning this war. Okay, because they have to take control of the narrative. Okay? It's very important for them to take control of the narrative, though, because they need bodies. Okay? They're going to go all in with this war. And this the president just asked for $200 billion for this war. He just asked Congress for that. Okay? So now, pretty much a FF is coming somewhere down the line to galvanize the people, to get into that patriotic spirit, man. But we're seeing now that they're calling evil good and good evil, man. Which leads him to the first scripture that I want to pull. This is Isaiah, okay, chapter 10, verse 1. Okay, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and right grievances which they have prescribed. And now pretty much, they bring up things out of thin air, and they consider it a breaking of the law. Okay, speaking truth now is pretty much breaking of the law. Okay, you see, it says, but pretty much that's the point right there, man. Unrighteous decrees, man. Okay, you see, all right. So pretty much now, this is the time that we're in now, man. And we always spoke about this for years, man. We know that they're pretty much are gonna come for the men of the Lord, man. Okay, men that speak truth. You see, okay, all right. From there, all right, I want to grab because this man is being exposed at the end of the day, man. You see, he's being exposed, and pretty much, man. He's making a spectacle of himself, man, in the sight of the nations, man. You see, all right. This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. You see, and pretty much, you got the Iranians pretty much mocking this whole government, man. You see, they pretty much classify them as the Epstein class, so to speak. You see, and they're pretty much going on their state media channel and pretty much countering anything that the media is putting out as that is considered propaganda, man. Okay. Now this man, he's losing the pretty much the narrative information war, man. Okay, so now he has to get that back into control, man. Okay, because everything is spiraling out of control really fast over there. Okay, in Western Asia, man. All right, and now he has to turn to his citizens, okay, and crack down on what is being said, man. Okay, to take control of the narrative, man. Okay, you see, all right. They already have a media blackout over there in Israel, man. No media outlets are really allowed to broadcast anything, man, because they are to face jail time. And it just shows you that this man has no goddamn integrity, man. Okay, everybody is compromised, man. Every single talking head that you look at, well, pretty much most of them are compromised, man. Okay, right now we should know who is considered controlled opposition by this point in time, and it shouldn't be no confusion or mistaken of anything, man. If you looking through the spirit, man. Okay, it's only a few small handful of people, man, that are really trying to speak for truth, man. And I believe Tucker Carlson pretty much is one of them. Okay, but like I said, no stretch in imagination. He's an Edomite. I pretty much feel that, but he's one of these guys that pretty much is one of those red-blooded Americans, man, that want his country back, and he understands that his country has been hijacked in the worst possible way, man. Okay, you see, all right, the good old days, and he talked about it, man. This is the man that he just wants to go back to the good old days, man. He wants to go back to he said, just give me 1983. He said, just give me 1983. I'll be fine with that. And he wants to rewind the clock. He wants to go back to the good old days, or pretty much the Leave It to Beaver days, man. Okay, you see, but he understands that his country that he loves so much has lost its way, man. Okay, and this is the reason why he stands up and speaks and is inquisitive, man. Okay, a lot of the content, we're gonna continue to use, man. Okay, because it's useful in this time, man. The scriptures speak about their own tongue shall fall upon themselves, man. Because like I said, he brings on whistleblowers. He brings in people that are from the inside. He just interviewed the guy that just quit in the administration, the counterterrorism head, so to speak. Okay, and he said it clearly that Iran never had weapons of mass destruction, man. They never was near having a nuclear missile, man. You see, and he quit under the guise of pretty much the whole administration being a compromise, man. You see, so you have people that are really knowing that their country is pretty much falling into the hands of a foreign entity, man. Okay, you see, and they know that they have no straight chance of getting it back, man, because everybody around them is compromised, man. Okay, shows you that the so-called Edom doesn't have no damn integrity at all, man. All right. From there, let's go to Isaiah, chapter 29. Let's go to verse 30. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. Right? That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Okay, and this man does turn aside the thing of just for a thing of naught, man. Okay, he wants to diminish our truth. He wants to diminish anybody that's speaking truth, man. You see? Okay, all right. He's making this Ducker. They call him. They gave him the Anti-Semite of the Year award, man. Okay, for just questioning why the government is being pimped, so to speak, man. Pretty much to put it in a nutshell. You see? Okay, and they pretty much are people, or they're saying now that the people, they're offended by what he says, man. Okay, for asking questions, man, for pretty much prying, okay, and these are you're having a small percentage of people, man, that are pretty much are a large amount really at that for pretty much waking up, man. Okay, so we're seeing that also civil war is going to be on the horizon, man, here, man, because these people here are going to buck up, man. Okay, and we're talking about a place, man, that got more guns than people, man. All right, you see. But when you talk about these red-blooded Americans, I put it on the chat, concerning that question. What is considered a red-blooded American? A red-blooded American is an informal expression used to describe someone seen as patriotic. They strongly identify with the United States, support its values, and take pride in being an American. Okay? Energetic and bold. The phrase suggests someone who is lively, strong-willed, and not intimidated, not timid, someone that takes action and stands firm on their beliefs. And this is pretty much what him and a lot of this percentage of people that feel that type of way, man. Okay? Traditional. It can also imply with someone who holds more classic American ideas like independence, self-reliance, and sometimes traditional views on culture and gender roles. Okay? Red-blooded American originally meant full of life and vigor as opposed to pale or weak. Over time, it became associated with certain image of a strong, assertive, all-American type person. Okay, and that's pretty much what you got guys like Tucker Carlson and the like, and people that are like-minded like him, man. You see? Okay? And this is the reason why he pretty much does what he does, man. Okay? He pretty much got fired from Fox. He became unplugged from controlled opposition, went on and did his own thing, and now, pretty much now, he's on the verge of being threatened of being arrested, man, for being too inquisitive. And somebody of his caliber, man, he's definitely going to be asking questions concerning this war. Okay, you see? All right. So pretty much, man, this is the start of them of that famine of that word, man. Okay, we see it coming, man. You know. All right. Let's get that, man. Okay. Okay. Because ultimately, man, they want to come after the men of the Lord at the end of the day, man. All right. But pretty much, man, our people better get their ish together, man. All right, because the doors of repentance are slowly closing, man, and we're actually singing it in real time, man. Okay, you see? All right, so this is Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, right? And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. And that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. And they're going to faint the thirst of hearing that word, man. Because the men were out there, okay, standing 10 toes down, bold as a lion, and people took it for a thing of naught, man. Okay, waving their hand, they got something to say, gainsayers, you see, but reality is gonna hit them hard in the face, man. Okay, all right, and they're gonna wonder where those men are, you see, and the scriptures speak about that, man. So we're seeing now, man, with an FCC chair is threatening to snatch broadcast licensing from these broadcasters, man. Okay, so this thing is going to pretty much take on a being of itself, man. Okay, this will actually come into fruition, man. Okay, all right. They must get a hold of this narrative, man, because right now, man, the way things are looking, man, is getting real sloppy, man. Okay, all right. The reporting is getting real sloppy, man, and pretty much, man, we're looking weak, man. In the sight of the nations, man. You see? Okay. All right. Our power trip is pretty much being diminished, man. Okay. You see? And we know the Lord is working to work, man. Okay. All right. We know the Lord is working to work, man. All right. All right. Last precept I want to grab. This is Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 13. The prophecies about Babylon, right? Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles, man. Okay? All right? And we lifting up that banner, man. Okay? All right? You see? That word of the Lord, man. Okay? And pretty much, man, hey, the gates of the nobles are going to hear this, man. Okay? You see, and you got a lot of people out there that are trying to do what we do, man, but the Spirit of the Lord is not with them, man. You see? Okay? So they're going to have to actually tap in and get it from the source, man. Okay? You see? It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones, and I also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Okay, the Lord has pretty much raised up his men, man, to speak this word, man. Okay, all right, and it's going to go into the gates of the nobles, man. Okay, you see, right? It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Okay, and that's what's happening right now that we're seeing right now, man. The war drums are beating, man. The Lord is creating situational circumstances, man, to gather these nations in that region, man. Okay, like a magnet, man. Okay, right? Scriptures say, right? Right? Kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Okay, the maestro. Okay, all right, controlling the minds of the kings, man. Okay, just like rivers of water, man. He turneth it whatsoever way we wish. Okay, and due to these situational circumstances, okay, World War III is pretty much in this beginning stage, man. Okay, you see, all right, we're in it now. Okay, those ICBMs are just going to be the finale, the cherry on top, man. Okay, you see, but we're in the beginning stages of World War III, man. These nations are being pulled into this, man. Okay, and alliances are going to be made. Old alliances being broken, new alliances being made. And it's still unfolding, man, in real time. You see, this is not something that we just been speaking about for years, and people haven't seen it. We actually are seeing it happening, man. Okay, and it should be a great faith booster for any brother that's pretty much, man, that's been kind of low in the spirit, or but you shouldn't even be in that sense of spirit, man. Okay, we're seeing the Lord working the work, man. Okay, we're seeing that the Lord, man, is a man of war, man, and we gotta understand that this is for our sakes. Okay, all right, the Lord is going to defend His people, man. Okay, His men in general, man. You know, but pretty much, man, we're seeing this now, man. How they are pretty much getting this thing together here. You see, they are pretty much are setting the table, okay, to pretty much shut this word up, man. All right, you see. But hey, we're gonna continue to speak the word of the Lord, man, and continue to do what we do, man. Okay, and pretty much chant this place down. Okay, so pretty much I'm gonna end it there, and I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rukakwadash, Shalom.